Okay, welcome to another episode of 사전미팅. This is a first episode of Christmas season 사전미팅. And today we're going to look up the word well, it's a word, but it's a name of a person, like Jesus Christ. It's one of the most famous character in human history, and which is also very seasonally mentioned or considered, interested legend. And that old man's name is Santa Claus. Well, I believe many of you already know the legends and origin, etymology, whatever, of Santa Claus from North European, Scandinavian stories and legends and all that. But anyway, I think Santa Claus, the character of Santa Claus, is I find it very interesting because it's like this. So let's think about it. The origin of Santa Claus, there's always legends. Most of them, maybe not most, but many of legends has its factual seed. You know what I mean? So this is actually a fact. Let's just call it a fact, like a person or event, And the thing is, you have this tradition of, tributing that event or especially that person. You make up stories to think about it, like a memorabilia. You make memorabilia, or you wrote memoirs or whatever. So the thing is, even though it started with a particular person or event, it becomes a culture when it has, tribution rule. Every tradition, every tradition or tribution, what defines a tradition, or what makes something traditional, or the tribution, the essence is not the heaviness, the meaning of the actual facts or events. It's actually the rules, like you cut the head off, you chop off a live animal and, give blood to a dead person, or like a god or whatever. All those things, that system, I actually call that a terminology, some sort of a terminology. Those are rules. Those rules built in and integrated into a particular system. That system is ritual. It can be ritual, or it can be, like a socially agreed and passed on and stuff like that. So it's the system, not actual events or facts or person or what the fuck. It's always the system. So the thing is, whether the person or the events are important enough to build a system upon it, or surrounding it, something like that. So this is actual fact, or actual fact, the person, event, whatever it is, but it becomes system, it becomes structure, you know, and it's like a modularizing, it becomes a module, and it is very very similar to making a book. For example, let's say you have a word to say, you gotta something to say, but when you just say it, it's just saying. It's a sentence, which is groups of words, right? But the thing is, when you pick and decide a subject, you know, so your saying is this, but you actually set up a subject and group them and build a structure around it or upon it or based on it, whatever you're saying, and make it as a module. Then it becomes book, such as this. Then the very first events, or in this case, the saying, the groups of words, I want to say it doesn't mean anything, but it means, of course, something. But once it becomes, a book, the module, the system, you can pass it on. Well, you can sell it, obviously, right? You can sell it and you can share it. If you can share something, you can pass it on. You can pass to somebody else. That means to share, right? So all the tradition, all attribution, whatever, the thing called culture, especially something that's timeless, you have to do it first, make it a module. The thing is, let's get back to the Santa Claus, right? The thing with the Santa Claus is, the Santa Claus itself, himself, it's just a legend. It's a Scandinavian god or whatever. But the thing is, the system that is created based on the story that Santa Claus comes to the children at night when they were sleeping, and he comes crawl, just like a Mission Impossible mission, like a Tom Cruise, sneaking into the house and give you presents and stuff. All those stories, it makes the Santa Claus actual legend or event or the history, whatever it is, whatever it was, those stories and those modules, cultural modules, give the Santa Claus the character which we all know of these days. So it's always what makes something eternal, immortal, or meaningful in many cases is it's a fucking story. So it does not mean you don't have to be a good person or not. The thing is, I'm trying to say, it's always what kind of story is built around you. That is very important in life. So in Korea, we all saying in any other country, probably the same, I guess. If you're a bad boy, if you cry a lot or basically bothering your parents a lot, then Santa Claus knows everything, and he won't give you any. He won't give those children that bothering children crying. What the fuck? They will not get the presents from Santa Claus, right? Thank God he didn't. He won't punish him. Well, he actually punished him by not giving any presents. But anyway, well, that thing is also a character of Santa Claus, right? It's basically a god. Basically a god. He knows everything. But anyway, so the thing is, Santa Claus is always very interesting character. And the funny thing is, it's like a Batman. I mean, Santa Claus is a character characterized by the story, and that story, I mean, passed on story that is almost like a tradition like stories. And the thing is, the existence of actual Santa Claus, because children gets presents actually in reality, right? In reality. So whether the Santa Claus exists or not is very important, and also it can only be questionable and something very curious for children, right? But the thing is, Santa Claus is also a character that if you know the answer of Santa Claus's existence, whether he does exist or not, you should not tell the answer. That's also important part, actually the core part of the core, that what it makes Santa Claus very different and interesting. And you know, like, I mean, that's why I say he's like a Batman. I mean, Superman is a little different because Clark Kent becomes Superman when nobody knows, right? But Santa Claus is someone, if you know who the Santa Claus is, I mean, if you know the fact that Bruce Wayne is this Batman, you should not tell anybody, right? You should not tell the truth to the world. It is something like that. Santa Claus. You know Santa Claus, who Santa Claus is? I mean, how he got all that beer belly? You should not tell anybody. That's part of the character. That's part of the story on which Santa Claus based on. So it is interesting. I wonder what kind of story is surrounding me, or I am, based on. I wonder if there's any caveman story for myself. Anyway, so Santa Claus is SA, so it is in the thickest volume of this magnificent dictionary. It's volume 8, right? Q to SH. Yes. Heavy as hell. I wish Santa Claus gave me a present this heavy and large. Hopefully something useful. I've been a well, not completely a good boy, but I've been a okay, you are fine Jimmy boy for year 2023. So I deserve some, some credit. I mean, I deserve some nice gift from Santa Claus. Don't you think? If you disagree, well, fuck off. But before you fuck off, please click like or thumb up or subscribe my channel. Come on, that's the least thing you can do. Renovate, we passed. Okay, there's still R. We need S. Come on, right. Oh my god, there are so many right. This book is basically a self-righteous book. No? Rocky, roof, round, rubber, rule, run, Ruskin. Yes, S. Sableness. Sableness. Sackcloth. Sadly. salient, salting, same, sand, Santa, where are you? Sanguineous, Santa. Pretty close, but not Santa. Santa. Oh, here, Santa. Okay, before that. Oh, wait a minute, sans serif. Oh. Sans serif. This is interesting. Okay. Santa Claus. But before that, there's a Santa. So what is Santa? It's kind of rare form. It's a female saint. So it's basically wait a minute. Is this a yes? Recently Santa with assimilation to saint. A female saint, Santa. Interesting. Not to recommend you to the saints. Oh, saints and santas. So you call male saint, female saint, saint. I see. Interesting. But it's not a Santa Claus because he's a male. As far as I know, he's an old man. Grandpa. He doesn't like Coke, but he certainly is in the commercial of, commercial campaign of Coca-Cola, but he's still, he doesn't belong to the Coca-Cola company. Anyways, Santa Claus, here. Santa Claus. So, Santi Claus. With Santi, S-A-N-T-I, Claus. And dialect to Santa Claus. In Dutch, Sint Claus, Saint Nicholas. See, Nicholas. In nursery language, the name of an imaginary personage who is supposed in the night before Christmas Day to bring presents for children, a stocking being hung up to receive his gifts. Very nice. This is Santa Claus we all know of, right? So 1828. Right? The Jew gals for the Befana who acts here the same comedy for children that Santa Claus does in America. 1828, right? And 1850, Susan Warner, Wild Wild World. I used to think that Santa Claus came down the chimney. What he used to do. I mean, these days, especially in South Korea here, we all got, basically we are like chickens. We live in a huge rack of houses, which we call apartments. Basically, there's no freaking chimney. Well, there are some sort of chimney that's an air duct, but it's basically not a chimney. So Santa Claus won't be, I won't say won't be, but it's got harder to get inside a house for Santa Claus to give, children presents. But you know what? Thank God we not only built apartment for Santa Claus, harder, to bother Santa Claus come into the house in a hard way. Thank God we actually don't have children and we do not give birth enough children. We actually have the lowest rate in the birth rate, So we are actually not bothering Santa Claus that much because we have less children than any other country. So Santa Claus, do not bypass South Korea because we are doing well and you can actually have a break time with Rudolph here because we don't have children. Less presents for less gifts and less presents for South Korea, right? Santa Claus, have a break here. We got a lot of liquor here. So anyway, by the way, I am living in the basement, Santa Claus, so you have to you don't need to use the chimney, but you have to walk down to give me the present, right? I've been a good boy. I'll say it again. So anyway, again. Now, 1863, Miss Jung, Christmas names. Okay, here. The Dutch element in New England has introduced Santa Claus with K here, Santa Claus to many a young American who knows nothing of Saint Nicholas or of any Saint's Day. Well, I'm no stranger. I have no idea about Saint Nicholas or any Saint Day. Don't hate me. 1872, Bret Hart. How Santa Claus came to Simpson's bar. Well, I don't know how. Well, he wrote the Rudolph's card or whatever. I wonder 21st century Santa Claus rides Tesla made Rudolph's. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure he won't ride any Starlink or he won't ride any rectangular shape Rudolph ride. Anyway, so Santa Claus is this much. In this entire thickness, entire mass, entire writings, entire, say, stories of this thick book, Santa Claus is this much, only this much. So short, so small. You see, people, this is the size of myth and wonder in life. This is reality. This is weight of life. And you have only that much of wonder and myth. Don't lose it. Certainly don't ruin it. Keep it simple, keep it mythical, and keep wondering. So where's Santa? Who the fuck is Santa? I'll tell you the answer. The answer is